Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Make It Yourself. In today's video we are going to learn how to make these beautiful floral discs. You can use these discs as coasters, or you can also join them together to make apparels or blankets or even bags or any other crochet projects. I would also like to take half a minute of your time to show these wonderful sewing kits by the brand Velostar. So they come in three different sizes. This is the smallest one, which can be very travel friendly. This is the medium size, which has most of the basic things that is required for sewing. And you have this large one, which has a lot of additional stuffs, and it has also a lot of color choices for the threads to be used. If you would like to purchase this kit, you can refer to my description for a coupon which would give you some offer as well. So let's move back to the tutorial now. So we're going to start off with the yellow yarn. We're going to make a magic ring first. So wrap the yarn twice around two fingers and then make a chain one. After the chain one, you can take the magic ring out of your fingers, and into this magic ring we are going to make 7 half double crochets. So while we are making the half double crochets, I would like to let you know that details on the yarn brand and the hook size and all the other items needed for today's video will be listed in the description of this video. So do refer the description as well. So this is the second half double crochet, and this is the third half double crochet, and the fourth half double crochet, the fifth half double crochet, the sixth half double crochet, and the seventh half double crochet. Now after the seventh half double crochet we are going to pull the tail yarn and close this magic ring. So pull the tail yarn tightly and close the magic ring as much as possible. And now into the first stitch we are going to make a slip stitch. So this is the first stitch. We're going to insert our hook through it and we're going to make a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain one and then trim off this yellow yarn because we're going to change the color. So trim it off, and now we're going to stitch in the tail yarns. We have two tail yarns, one in the center and one after this end of this round. So to stitch in the tail yarn you can use a needle or use a smaller crochet hook and just pull the yarn through few of the existing stitches until you feel that the yarn is secure, and then trim off the excess. So here we are done with the center part in yellow color, and now we're going to change the color to orange. So using the orange yarn, make a slip knot, and this slip knot you can pull through any of the stitches. So you'll just be pulling it through any stitch, need not matter the first stitch or the last stitch, any stitch. Just insert your hook and pull this slip knot through the stitch, and then we're going to chain one, and into the stitch we are going to make two double crochets together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, and then you're going to pull through only two loops, and after that we're going to yarn over again and insert hook into the same stitch, pull through it and pull through two loops. Now you'll have three loops in the hook and pull through all three of them. So this is two double crochet together. Now chain three and repeat this in the next stitch as well. So make two double crochet together in the next stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch and pull a loop, pull through two loops alone, and then yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, pull a loop pull through 2 loops, and then you'll have 3 loops in the hook, and pull through all 3 of them. So you're going to chain 3. So between the double crochets together, you'll have a chain of 3, and you'll be repeating this step till the end of this round. If you remember, the previous round we had made 7 double crochets, but by the end of this round we're planning to make 8 sets of 2 double crochets together. And this will be able to do it because after making this 2 double crochets together on top of the 7 half double crochets, we will be making one more double crochet into the space where we made the slip stitch. So if you could see, this is the stitch which is just right before the slip stitch is made. So I'll show you. So after the stitch, make the chain of 3, and this is the connecting stitch between the last half double crochet and the first half double crochet. Between this also you will be making 2 double crochet together stitch. So by the end of this round you will have 8 2 double crochet sets. So as you can see, we completed this. So chain 3 again, and so far we have finished 5 of the double crochets set, and this is the 6th one, and we have 2 more to go. The reason I kept 7 double crochets in the previous round is because when I kept 8 double crochets, the uh, point where the last stitch connected the first stitch, that remained as a gap when we were making this second row, and it did not look good in the pattern. So here, this is the 7th stitch, and going to chain 3, and we're going to make now the 8th set as well. So make the 8th set of the 2 double crochets together, and after this last set we are going to chain 3 again, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of the first stitch. So this is the top stitch where we started making the chain. So we're going to slip stitch right under this chain. So make a slip stitch, and after that you're going to chain 1 and pull the yarn tight to make a knot, and then trim it off. Now again we are going to stitch in this tail yarn, either using a smaller crochet hook or a needle. I prefer using a smaller crochet hook because that way I can work with the tail yarns of shorter length. If you want to use a needle, you would have to leave a longer tail yarn, and then using the needle you can pass it through a few of the existing stitches and then trim off once you feel that the yarn is secure. You can also place a dab of glue to the end once you are done stitching, just to make sure that the yarn does not come off later on. So we're done with the second round. Now for the third round we are going to use this pink yarn, and as usual we're going to start off by making a slip knot first. And after making this slip knot, we are going to pull the slip knot under any of the chain 3 stitches. So we have this chain of 3, just pull the slip knot under any of them, and then we are going to first make a slip stitch. So make a slip stitch first, and we're going to make 4 double crochets over this chain of 3. And you will notice that while I always make these first few stitches, I also include the tail yarn under the stitches, so that instead of stitching it at the end, while I make these stitches itself, the tail yarn gets hidden. So here too, I'm holding the tail yarn on the back side and under these stitches. So make 4 double crochets, and after the fourth double crochet you are going to make a slip stitch under the same chain of 3. So this is the tail yarn, and after this last or fourth double crochet make a slip stitch under the same chain of 3, and now we'll move on to the next chain of 3 space. Here too we're going to first slip stitch, and then we are going to make 4 double crochets into this chain 3 space. This is the first double crochet, the second double crochet, the third double crochet, and the fourth double crochet. After the fourth double crochet you can make a slip stitch into the same chain 3 space. Now as you can see, the tail yarn is almost hidden and we have just this little bit poking out, and after the slip stitch we can trim off that excess tail yarn which is poking out. So we'll be repeating this pattern for all the chain 3 spaces, and by this end of round you should have a total of 8 petals. So these pink ones you can call them as petals, and by the end of this round you should have a total of 8 petals. So this is the third petal that we are making, and we're repeating the same pattern of slip stitching followed by 4 double crochets and followed by another slip stitch. So continue this pattern till the end of this round and make the 8 petals for this round. And once this round is done, again we're going to change the color. So after this last petal we're going to slip stitch here into the same chain 3 space, and after that we're also going to make a slip stitch under the very first chain 3 space. After that we're going to chain 1 and pull the yarn tight to make a knot, and then trim off the tail yarn. So after this we're going to, as usual, stitch in the tail yarn. I prefer to stitch the tail yarn on the back side of the pattern, so that if there is anything that looks a little bit odd, it is still hidden on the back side. So just pull through few of the existing stitches. Here I have a bunch of bulk stitches here, so just pulling under them, and then I'm going to trim off the excess. So now we're going to change our color to green. So using the green yarn, make a slip knot, and this slip knot we will be pulling it, or we'll be making the stitches this time between the petals. So between the petals you have this slip stitch that we made. So there is a stitch like this, you can see. So into the stitch we will be working only on this back loop. So this stitch has 2 loops and this is the back loop. So insert your hook through the middle such that we'll be working on the back loop. So pull this slip knot through it and then make a slip stitch, and into the same back loop first make a double crochet, 2 double crochet together. So we have used this stitch for the orange yarn. It is the same stitch that we are doing again. So this is the first double crochet together, and then we are going to make a chain of 3. So chain 3 and then make the same double crochet together into the same back loop stitch. So for that, pull through 2 loops and then yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, pull a loop and pull through 2 stitches, and then when you have 3 loops, pull through all 3 of them. So chain 3 again, And now again we are going to work on the stitch between the two petals. So yarn over and insert your hook into the back loop of the stitch which is between the two petals, and then make a two double crochet together stitch. And after the first double crochets together, make a chain of 3 and make the second double crochets together stitch as well into the same stitch. So after that we will again make a chain of 3 and move on to the next stitch which is between the next two petals. So yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop of the stitch which is between the two petals, and then pull a loop, pull through two loops, and then yarn over and insert again and pull through two loops, and now pull through all three, chain 3, and after chaining 3 make the second the two double crochets together stitch into the same back loop. So we will be repeating this pattern, and by the end of this round you should have these two sets of two double crochets together, a total of such 8 sets. So once you reach the last set you will be chaining 3, and then you will be slip stitching to the top of the first double crochets together stitch. So just below the chain of 3 insert your hook and pull through it and make a slip stitch. So after making the slip stitch, as usual, chain 1, pull the yarn tight to make a knot, and then trim off. Now we're going to stitch this tail yarn in. So turn the yarn to the other side and then stitch in the green tail yarn into the existing stitches. Just pull through a few of them and then trim off the excess. So for this pattern you can change the color as per your preference. And now we are moving into the next round where we are going to use blue color yarn. So make a slip knot using this blue color yarn, and we are going to make a slip stitch onto the chain of 3 which is just above the petal. So the slip knot should be made into the chain 3 which is just above the petal, above the pink petal. And so pull it under this chain of 3 and make a slip stitch. So we're going to make a shell stitch. So for the shell stitch we're going to slip stitch into this chain of 3 first, and into the next chain of 3 which is between the petals, there we're going to make 7 double crochets. So this is the first double crochet, the second double crochet, the third double crochet, the fourth double crochet, the fifth double crochet, the sixth double crochet, and the seventh double crochet. Now we're going to slip stitch again into the next chain of 3 which is right above the pink petal. So slip stitch over this next chain of 3 space, and then again make 7 double crochets into the next chain 3 space which is between the petals. So the second double crochet, the third double crochet, the fourth double crochet, the fifth double crochet, the 6th double crochet and the 7th double crochet. So after this, again slip stitch into the next chain 3 space, which is just above the pink petal, and this way we have made 2 fan stitches. So repeat this pattern till the end of this round, and you should have a total of 8 fan stitches. So these fan stitches will be between the 2 leaves. So just make sure of the placement. Other than that, it's a pretty simple stitch for this round. At the end, you're just going to slip stitch to the top of the first stitch, or and then you're going to chain 1 and then trim off this yarn. Now again, stitch in the tail yarn. So using a smaller crochet hook, turn it to the other side, and on the back side just pull this blue yarn through a few of the existing blue stitches, and then once you have passed it through a few stitches and it is secure enough, you can trim off the extra yarn. Now the next color that we are going to use is a dark blue color, and we are going to make a slip knot using this dark blue. And you can start this at any stitch, the pattern remains the same, but we will start it at the stitch which is connecting between the 2 fan stitches. So this is the bottommost stitch, so this is the stitch connecting the 2 fan stitch. So we're going to work only on the back loop for this entire round. So connect it to the back loop of this bottom stitch and make a slip stitch, and into the same stitch make 1 double crochet. Next we'll be working on the stitches of the fan stitch, and the fan stitch has 7 double crochets in it. So into the first stitch we're going to make 1 double crochet first, then the next one we're going to make a half double crochet, and always keep in mind that we're working only on the back loops of the stitches. Next make a single crochet, next make a slip stitch. Now next make a single crochet and a half double crochet. And as you can see, while I'm making the stitches, I'm working on top of the tail yarn also, so that I can hide it while I'm making the stitches. Then make a double crochet. So these are the 7 stitches that are done. Now into the stitch which is connecting these 2 fan stitches, or you can say the slip stitch, on top of that we are going to make 1 double crochet, and then we're going to start and repeat this pattern again. So to repeat this pattern, we're going to again start off with a double crochet, followed by a half double crochet, followed by a single crochet, followed by a slip stitch, followed by a single crochet, a half double crochet, a double crochet, and again make a double crochet into the slip stitch between the fan stitches. So you'll be repeating this pattern till the end of this round, and make sure to work only on the back loops of the stitches. So here we are almost at the end of this round. You can also skip this round if you like to end your round with the fan stitch itself. Since I'm making coasters, I wanted to have it a roundish kind of shape. That's why I included this round. So after the last double crochet, you're going to insert your hook into the top of the first double crochet and then make a slip stitch and then chain one and trim the tail yarn. And after trimming the tail yarn, you're going to turn it on its back and uh, make sure to for this round to keep the stitches loose, otherwise it might curve a bit. As you can see, it is curving a little bit here as well, but that's mainly because I am using a yarn which is much smaller than the yarn used for the previous round, since I didn't have dark blue color yarn. If you use yarn of the same size and weight, you shouldn't have this issue. And you can also spray stiffening spray on top of these coasters, and that will make them hold the shapes better. So you can see here I have made 3 different coasters, changing only the color of the petals in pink to purple. So you can make a number of these by changing only the petal colors. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Do subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon for notifications on new videos, and give me a thumbs up if this was useful for you. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and have a good day.